Hey folks, it's Monday morning again. Hey, how you doing? So, all of my cons are done with until like I think the first one is New Hampshire Ren Fair. By the time I'm hoping to have the cookbook for you guys, like in my hot little hands in paper, like real and printed and everything. So, yeah, that's what I'm doing a lot of right now is working on the cookbook. I need to do that because I need to go through and make sure that all of the sentences make sense. I need to check my spelling and grammar. And honestly, when you're talking about a cookbook or any nonfiction as opposed to fiction, you can't get creative with some. I mean, some of this stuff isn't easy to check in a spell checker. Gal and gal is a medieval word. It's not something that is used every day. It's not in my spell checker. It turns up red on the video on the when you're running it through Word or Google Docs as being misspelled because they don't know what it is. Half of the words in the book are like that, so I'm adding things to my dictionary so that I don't have to double check them and stuff. It's a lot of work and it takes a long time. So you'll notice that the title of this was Reading Aloud. And that's because I want to talk to you today about the idea of reading your manuscripts aloud. To me, it's one of the most useful things that I do as an author who is editing. Coffee is the most useful. Editing is the second most useful. Reading aloud. So, when you sit down to edit your book, especially if you've just finished writing it, you know what the book says, and so your brain does this thing where it skips over stuff and it fills in holes. You don't notice stuff. And this was highlighted. Sorry, I have a squirrel doing things. Squirrel! Uh, when I read the first Taylor Mage novel to my kid, um, she caught several errors while I was reading because she could hear things that I didn't. And I would see things as I was going between what was coming out of my mouth and what was written on the page. And I'd have to stop and go, oh, I have to fix that. Oh, I have to fix that. The act of reading brings another sense into your editing tools. And so it helps you get past the I've seen this 4,000 times. It's not as easy with a cookbook because you're reading, lists of ingredients. Whee! But it does work and it's very useful. I adore doing reading aloud edits because if something doesn't flow right, especially in fiction, but even in the conversational parts of the cookbook, I'll be talking about something and it doesn't come through right. And I can hear that in my voice when I'm reading the words on the page, or I use the same word too many times in a paragraph or whatever. I can catch that by hearing it when I wouldn't necessarily see it in reading. And it's incredibly helpful. It helps your writing to become more smooth because when people out there in the grand outdoors that are not you or your family or the people you pay to look at your book read through it, having had that sort of out loud edit really helps create a finished product that is easier to read in general. Having somebody to listen to you read is even more helpful, but more so with fiction than it is with the cookbook. The cookbook really doesn't lend itself well to being read aloud to somebody else. I've read like the foreword and some of the chapter headings and things, but the recipes themselves are, I mean, you don't read recipes aloud. It just doesn't work. It's not a thing. But working on editing, of course, is my bugaboo because I see too many people who whip together the first draft of a book and then try and throw it up on Amazon and get mad because nobody's buying it. Well, yeah, You have to fix your grammar. You have to fix your spelling. You have to fix your sentence structure. You have to fix the number of um, adverbs you're using. How many times have you used passive voice? Get rid of that, yada, yada. There are so many things that need to be fixed. That brain dump is really important for many writers. I would even hesitate to, I might say most writers, but that brain dump is not a finished product. It's not meant to be a finished product, and it should not be a finished product. Please don't make it a finished product. Now, having a professional editor does not mean that you get to skip out on your edit. No, sir. No, ma'am. Mm-mm. Skipping out on your personal editing, that's how you end up with 50 Shades of Grey. Okay? I'm serious. I made it 3 pages into the book. There were spelling and grammar errors in the first 3 pages. Any editor should have been fresh. But then I look at it and I go, maybe there were so many that she just missed those. This is why we edit, people. Okay? Traditional publisher versus the Kindle Direct Publishing and I think it's called Mood and a couple of others out there. I just want to talk about that for a minute. The idea that the only way to publish officially is with a big name, mass produced paperback publisher is wrong today. It wasn't 20 years ago, okay? 20 years ago, hardbound books and mass produced fiction were a really big deal. They can be a really big deal today, but not as much. I talk to a lot of people who are published, practiced authors who are successful enough that they are living off of what they're writing, okay? Which is not me. I just need to make that clear. I am processing information I'm getting from other people, as well as including my own stuff here. Traditional publishers are wonderful if you get picked up and manage to hit the big time, okay? But I'll give you an idea. The amount that you will make per book in a mass publishing situation, so Del Rey, Tor, the names that we all know, okay? You're going to get somewhere between 3 and 7 cents per book. And 7 cents, we're talking like Stephen King here. It's a pitiful amount, but they guarantee that they're going to sell 500,000 copies of your book. It adds up, okay? They do the majority of the advertising and the sending it out to stores and getting it out in front of people and putting it in newsletters and bumping it up in Amazon, and all of those things are done by the publisher. Except that they're not these days. They're done for people like Stephen King, who have an established name, Piers Anthony, the big Robert Heinlein, if he were alive. Okay, the big names out there are getting those treatments, and they should. Okay, so don't get me wrong. I'm not dissing that they're getting it. Those of us who come in and publishers take a chance on us, they read our first novel or the first one that they see and go, sure, we'll give it a shot. They're not going to give you 7 cents per book, and they're also not going to spend a huge chunk of money advertising for you. Why? Because that's not a guarantee that you're going to actually be successful. Again, I reference you back to 50 Shades of Grey. I'm happy for the author. I think that's the most positive thing I can say about it. The publishing game is indeed a game, and it's not fair. It does not matter if your book is quality or crap. What matters is how it is marketed and whether people decide they like it. And it's a very fickle thing. When I publish through Kindle Direct Publishing, which is my publisher, and through my imprint, which is Troglodyte LLC, I am putting in all of the work doing the writing, the editing, the typesetting, I go out and get the jacket made. I had it made by a very good artist, Starla Hutchison. I can never pronounce her last name, but I still have to take that and put it in. I'm the person who gets it all together. I'm the person who hits the publish button in KDP. I'm the person who makes sure it goes live on Amazon. I'm the person who goes and double checks the galley copy to make sure it doesn't have any glaring errors. I'm the person who has to double check that the printer came through and that the cover is not too dark. I'm the person who takes it out to the stores and negotiates for them to put it on their shelves. I'm the person who does the press releases, who puts up posters, who does the media spam to people. Okay. I'm the person who does all of that. And as an author, I still get paid a pittance for what I've written. At maybe, if I'm lucky, after all of the shipping and all of the thing, and not including my time, okay? Including none of the time that I take to do all of that other stuff than the writing. I get maybe $1 a book. $1 a book. It's hard, okay? I am obviously not doing this for the money. It would be really nice if I get that 3rd book out and Del Rey, whoever's running it, picks up a copy and goes, "Damn, this is good. We should publish this. Hey, Allison, do you want a contract?" Yes, yes, I do. I would love for you to go and put that book out there because I wrote it because I want people to read it. And I'd like to make the money, which would be nice, okay? But it's not the main reason that I did it. But that $1 a book is way more than the 7 cents that I'm going to make with a traditional publisher. It means that I have a hell of a lot more work. Now, I'm in a position where I'm very lucky because I can do that. I work from home, I write, and I do a couple of other things. I'm homeschooling the kids, so I'm here all day. I am in a very enviable position because my family supports my bad habit of writing. Okay? And I owe them my life because they put up with my writerly ways, and that's just the end of it. Not everybody can do that, and there are places out there that will help you market your book. There are places out there that will do your covers for you. There are places out there where you can get the typesetting done. And in fact, if you're looking for somebody to do that, talk to me. I have a friend who is probably doing it. You know who you are. But all of that costs money. So when you're only making $1 a book and you don't have that ability to reach out and put it in every bookstore across the country, you're looking at 100 sales. Okay, so now you've made 100 books. Then you pay your taxes on it and you bring home what, $75? And that's like at the end of the year. You're not even eating mac and cheese on that, folks. It's a lot of work. There are a lot of really good reasons to get into traditional publishing. And I'm not dissing it. If you can get in, wonderful. But please don't put your books on hold because you can't get into traditional publishing. Go out and do the work and put out a couple of pieces if you can. Ask for help. See if the friends who can do typesetting or covers or whatever. Get your work out there because in this day and age, you are actually more likely to have your stuff read if it's available on Amazon and you can get some people to buy it. Because once that happens and they start doing reviews, Amazon will try to sell it for you. That's just them. They don't care who you are. They don't care if you're a traditional publisher. What they care about is how many books you're going to sell for them. Okay? And if you can make it onto their little list, boom, you fly. And that's how we end up with people who put their book on Amazon as a self-published author for the first time, never published anything before, and suddenly they've sold like 2 million copies. It's possible. And when that happens, the traditional publishers come out of the woodwork and they come and try and find you. And then you have a chance to negotiate. And that's an enviable and wonderful position to be in. So I'm really hoping that I will get there. I'm really hoping that you will get there. It's all good. I'm just going to end up today on a quick note on the mustard that I made. So, wow, making mustard is really different when you're doing it with older type of mustard. It was kind of cool. It is not saucy the way that the stuff you buy at the store is. The stuff you buy at the store, you put it in, you spread it on the bread. It's a sauce, right? It's like consistency of mayo. That's not true. The stuff was much more it was much drier, and I have to figure out how to make it more saucy for the modern palate without changing the flavor, because the flavor, muy bieno, it was so good. It was very mustardy. The joy of making this mustard is it takes very little. It's not expensive to make. The flavors really pop, and you can play with it and have fun with it and really enjoy it. I will actually probably go to the trouble of making mustard at New Hampshire Ren Fair just so people can watch, because it's actually kind of fascinating, and doing it by hand is a real mess. So doing it outdoors sounds like about the right speed, and I think it'll be fun. So I'm looking out my window. My squirrel is gone, but I'm seeing snow, which means that I'm probably going to have to go shovel in a little while, and I still have dishes to do, and I got to feed a family, and I've got stuff to do. So I've kept you for 16 minutes. I'm going to let you go. Thank you for listening in today. If you have questions about reading aloud, about editing, about publishing, I'm not a subject matter expert, but I will gladly try and answer your questions. And if I don't have the answers, we'll go look together and we'll get those answers and we can share them with people. I love doing that. So please ask questions, bug me, page me on Facebook. I'm available on there. Page me here on YouTube. I look at all of my messages and stuff. So I'm not popular enough that, I'm overwhelmed by the number of fans I have. So, write to me so that I know there's at least one or two of you out there who aren't related to me. That'd be really awesome. So, don't forget to subscribe. Little teeny weeny button. It's like right there. I love you guys. And I will see you next week on Monday. Thank you for putting up with me being late and doing this Tuesday. So, oh yeah, hey, it's Tuesday, not Monday. You can tell I was really out of it yesterday. I lost a whole day. That's what happens when you come back from con. Anyway, I love you guys. Subscribe, okay? So just down here. There we go. Bye. See you next week.